we were talking the other day, and the audience for the show was ahead of us. We were talking about how Ray Epps got 6 months, and they were all saying, no, he's not going to do any time. And as usually is the case, thank God, he's a free
that poor man.
All right, so let's be reminded. This is the QAnon shaman got, what is it, 46 months? And let's take a look at what Ray Epps did by comparison. This guy was not cosplaying like the QAnon shaman. He was for real, this fella.
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? No! Peacefully. Fed.
See, they knew what was up.
Tomorrow? I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go. I'll say it.
All right.
We need to go in.
Shut the fuck up, Boomer.
To the Capitol.
Base Fed posting? All right. We need to go into the Capitol. I didn't see that coming. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So we showed that the other day. All right. So Ray Epps, a target of January 6th conspiracy theories, gets a year of probation for his Capitol riot role. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Wait, is that picture him whispering to a young man to not go in the Capitol?
Well, that's probably what his lawyers said. A man targeted by right-wing conspiracy theories about the U.S. Capitol riot was set. Oh, he was targeted by right-wing conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You got to love these people who, over at Associated Press.
Yeah,
to frame it that way. Well, this is why every lib is just absolutely intolerable, because they're constantly being programmed by sentences like that, right? A man targeted by right-wing conspiracy theories. It's to believe the party was their final, most fundamental command. I'm paraphrasing a little from 1984, but very, very much like 1984, where you're supposed to have this double think, where the perfect party member, the perfect citizen, is able to hold completely contradictory facts in their mind at the same time.
You know what they call that now? I can hold two things in my mind at once. Never experiencing cognitive dissonance.
And they do. Like, how can you listen to all the January 6th stuff from Stephen Colbert to CNN all over? It's the Biden going up there talking about this like it was the invasion of Genghis Khan and the Mongolians. And a man targeted by right-wing conspiracy theories. And if you talk to these libs, they'll be like, that's terrible what they're doing to him, because that's how they were told to frame it. All right, so let's go through this. Was sentenced on Tuesday to a year of probation for joining the January 6, 2021 attack by a mob of fellow Donald Trump supporters. Ray Epps, a former Arizona resident who was driven into hiding by death threats, pleaded guilty. No, he was off doing some assassinations by direction from his handlers. Pleaded guilty in September. Ray Epps is safe and effective. I didn't mean any of that. Pleaded guilty in September to a misdemeanor charge. He received no jail time, and there were no restrictions placed on his travel during his probation, but he will have to serve 100 hours of community service. Okay, so listen. You know who else had to serve 100 hours of community service? Me. Why? For breaking into a corporation building when I was 16 to steal a typewriter.
I thought you dug it.
It's a long story, but they made me go clean up at the local park, right? So I got the same community service for like stealing a typewriter that this guy got for supposedly inciting the greatest attack on civilization since the Huns.
An insurrection.
Insurrection. This guy got, I mean, I might have, if I had not given up my criminal ways, I could have been working Casino Park with this guy. That was for the people in Flushing.
Do you think that his service will be telling groups of people to go into things?
Maybe he'll become a tour guide. He'll become a tour guide, or porn with that profile. He appeared remotely by video conference and wasn't in the Washington, D.C. courtroom when Chief Judge James Boasberg sentenced him. Prosecutors had recommended a 6-month term of imprisonment for Epps. Okay, so from Greg Price, breaking: Ray Epps, the only January 6th protester, the only one who actually told people to go into the Capitol, has been officially sentenced to 1 year probation, $500 restitution, and 100 hours of community service. Can't make this shit up. While many J6 protesters are rotting in jail for nonviolent crimes, Epps escapes a prison term entirely. This is from Thomas Massey. Ray Epps, the man who directed people to go into the Capitol, and privately claimed credit for orchestrating the Capitol breach, gets 1 year probation. Nothing to see here. And Elon Musk tweeted out, strange. And friend of everybody's show, Comrade Misty, if you weren't sure if Ray Epps is a Fed before his, quote, sentence, that should clear it up for you. So what do you think about that, Keaton?
Well, there's that great scene in The Godfather where they bust the Fed, right? The guy says, now tomorrow, leave the gun, take the cannoli. Tomorrow, remember. And then they, get to him, right? So, I mean, look, it's the most obvious thing in the world. I mean, it's an insult to the, not even an insult to our intelligence, just an insult to our eyes and ears. And you'll have people sort of straw man this by saying, well, are you saying he's the most culpable? He didn't orchestrate it. Nobody's saying he's the most culpable. They're saying you have people being sentenced to years in prison for simply walking around inside the Capitol building, right? The shaman was sentenced as harshly as he was because he was the image of the riot. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the judge even said that. You are kind of the poster boy for this thing. They were clearly doing that to make an example of a guy who video evidence shows was simply getting a guided tour of the Capitol building from the cops themselves. This guy is out there the night before saying, tomorrow we have to go in. And it took them 2.5 years to even arrest the guy in the first place. And now this is the sentence. It's just a no-brainer. Well, I mean, there's nothing really to say. This is just the kind of thing, as you said, you have to, believe the party line. That's it. This is just a way to get people to comply. So this guy, right, according to CNN, MSNBC, is both a right-wing conspirator and the victim of a right-wing conspiracy theory. Right? Like, he is a conspirator. He directed them to go into the building. So to the extent that was a conspiracy, he was definitely in on it. But he's also the victim of right-wing conspiracy theories. Talk about like doublethink. Yeah.
Well, I think it was Voltaire who said, if they can make you believe absurdities, they can make you commit atrocities. I have not yet, and it's frightening. I have yet to find where the limit is of what the liberal class cannot be made to believe. They do not seem to have a limit. You can tell these people, you see that 600-pound person? That's a good lifestyle choice. And that has absolutely no...
It's a great lifestyle choice.
It has no impact on your health.
Well, get
There's no impact on your health. Where's the limit? Like, how far can you... And that's exactly what he says in 1984. He tells him in 1984, if I say that I float off the ground like a soap bubble, you will see that. That is for you to see. And that's exactly what... How could you possibly believe this guy's not an agent? And the people in the press, that's what's even more stunning. Because it's their... Hey, government's going to government. It's their job to expose that. I saw...
They won't look at it. They won't look at the video. They won't look at a video. So all the people are saying that... When he goes, I'm saying it. I could get probation, but I'm going to say it.
Even if they do, you just tell these people how they're supposed to see it, how they're supposed to frame it, and they'll do. It's the most incredible thing how brainwashed
it's just how
they are and how programmed they are. I mean, a lot of this is just neuro-linguistic programming. I saw a journalist saying there are 7 people who everybody knows work for the CIA. And when you see their headlines, you know who they are. Like that headline came from one of those 7.
Well, you can actually tell by reading the headline if you just are not like stupid. And that NLP, I heard somebody call it pseudoscience. I go, that's weird because the government sure don't think it's pseudoscience.
I mean, it's really not. They used to teach that to the KGB.
Yeah.
You know, mirroring to mirror the person's body language. So
people really want to mirror just the very concept that we have influencers as a job, which is fucking insane. Everything is now not what capitalism, I guess what I thought it was supposed to be was like, I don't know, the free market and goods and services traded. Now it ain't that. Now it's like an Oprah demigod you have to become.
Well, this is what Keaton always says about Trump. Part of his appeal is he lives in a world of merchandise. He lives in a world of schmatas. He lives in a world of things on shelves.
Yeah, that's
not
why he
of
was
influencers vaguely selling images of
rappers
themselves
loved him.
in Caraco.
No, he's very analog. Where did he come from? He came from building buildings, concrete, right? His signature policy, a wall. These are like material things that people can see and feel and touch. Whereas the whole like Davos world is all just numbers on a screen. That's not relatable to the average person. There's a psychological phenomenon at work there that is very central to why people latch on to a lot of Trump's messaging and why the sort of liberal answer to that doesn't resonate.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.